My name na Dr. Big Nyash. I dey run Bbl Black Friday, half the price, for a nyash wey big pass the Kardashians. The video barely lasted a few seconds, but it carries the confidence of a full sermon. Dr. Big Nyash stood boldly in front of a pink backdrop. A white coat draped on her shoulders like proof she did not feel the need to explain herself. Loud music thumped behind her as exaggerated coughs moved in rhythm, filling the screen with promises and temptation. It was chaotic, dramatic, and impossible to scroll past. Wow! Oge screamed as she watched the video for the 10th time that night. Each replay made her eyes widen a little more, as if the miracle might jump out of the screen if she stared hard enough. Her phone glowed against her face. In the dark room, the sound low but her imagination loud. Oge was a professional sugar baby. Beauty had been a full-time job for as long as she could remember. She had never struggled to survive. Men had always appeared at the right time, solving problems she never bothered to name. Her mother had prepared her early for this life, repeating the same advice from behind the counter of her beer parlor. As long as you look good, life will be kind to you. Oge believed it because life had proven it true. She followed trends faithfully. When weight loss became fashionable, she suddenly cared deeply about calories and morning walks. When gym culture took over social media, she replaced her clothes with activewear and mastered the art of gym selfies that showed effort without sweat. Every phase was temporary, but Oge committed fully because relevance mattered. Still, none of those trends felt like this. This was not discipline. This was not patience. This was instant transformation. Half the price. Black Friday. A body upgrade that promised attention without effort. Oge imagined walking into rooms and being noticed before she spoke. She imagined gifts coming faster, conversations becoming easier, negotiations ending in her favor. She did not think about the details. She did not question the source. She simply watched the video again, smiled slowly, and let the idea settle comfortably in her mind. Despite Oge having numerous sugar daddies, she had a boyfriend she had been with since secondary school tricks. He was the only constant in her life, the one who knew her before filters, before trends, before men with money began to circle her like vultures with gifts. Tricks loved Oge with a loyalty that never wavered. Even when he found out about the sugar daddies, the dinners, the trips, the quiet transactions disguised as affection, he never once considered leaving. Tricks was not from a wealthy home. Nothing had been handed to him. At 24, he had already built small businesses with tired hands and restless nights, all driven by one picture in his head. A future where Oge would never lack. A home where she would never feel the need to impress anyone else. That same night, after replaying Dr. Big Nyash advertisement over and over, Oge called Tricks. Her voice was calm, almost casual, as she told him she wanted to do BBL surgery. Did not raise his voice. He did not argue aggressively. He only spoke from the place where his love lived. To him, Oge was already the most beautiful woman he knew. Her body was perfect. Her face was enough. His reassurance, however, landed like an insult. Her mood shifted. The sweetness disappeared. His love was suddenly framed as wickedness. His hesitation became stinginess. She accused him of holding her back, of wanting her small so he could feel big. The threat followed quickly. If he didn't pay for the surgery, she would walk away from the relationship. Tricks panicked. The idea of losing her shook him more than the money ever could. Fear pushed reason aside. He sent the money, not knowing she had asked for triple the actual price. Oge booked the appointment soon after. A phone call with Dr. Big Nyash was smooth, reassuring, almost comforting. She was told the procedure was safe, no scars, no pain, minimal recovery. Different from other BBLs, no cutting open, just perfection. On the day of the surgery, she lay still. As the sleeping injections were administered, her body relaxed, her mind slipping away. Somewhere between unconsciousness and awareness, she woke up drowsy. Voices floated above her, nurses arguing in tense whispers. One of them mentioned that the millimeters were too much for her body. Dr. Big Nyash voice cut through the hesitation. Firm and unbothered, everything must enter, she said. An hour later, Oge was shaking awake. Her body looked flawless. No scars, no visible wounds, just curves that seemed unreal. Chooks arrived to pick her up, relief washing over his face, as he helped her into the car, unaware of what had happened on the table. After the BBL, attention followed Oge everywhere. Men multiplied, eyes lingered longer, offers came quicker. Among the many men drawn to her new body was Pastor Kende, a renowned general overseer of God's good ministries, a man whose reputation carried weight both in the pulpit and outside it, and Oge, now used to being watched, did not look away. Pastor Kende was a married man, respected and revered. Slowly, almost quietly, he began to sleep outside. One night became two. 2 nights became weeks. When he returned home, his voice was always calm, soaked in righteousness. Conference round longer than expected, he would say, loosening his tie without meeting his wife's eyes. Souls were saved, he added once, as if that should settle everything. Choma nodded each time, forcing smiles where questions lived. She wanted to believe him. A pastor's wife learns early how to swallow doubts and call it faith. One afternoon, after he returned from what he described as a week-long spiritual retreat, Choma decided to arrange his clothes. She hummed softly, folding shirts, straightening trousers, doing the quiet work of a woman trying to keep her home intact. Then her hands froze. Empty packs of condoms fell from a trouser's pocket. Not one, not two. Lipstick stains bloomed on the collar of his white shirt like evidence that refused to hide. Her heart began to race, loud in her ears, drowning out every prayer she had ever whispered. No, 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 she muttered, sinking onto the bed. Her fingers trembled as she reached for his phone. She did not want to unlock it, but fear pushed her forward. The truth opened itself mercilessly. Messages, late-night calls, pictures, and there she was. Oge, her body displayed boldly, confidently, unapologetically. Choma dropped the phone like it boned her. Days passed. Heavy and slow, she did not confront her husband. Instead, she prayed. She fasted. She cried until sleep came from exhaustion, not peace. She knelt on cold floors, asking God questions that returned no answers. Yet, Pastor Kende continued to drift further away, his body present, his spirit gone. Desperation finally found a voice. Using Oge's number, Choma made the call. "Stay away from my husband," she said, her voice shaking despite her effort to sound firm. "You are destroying my home." Oge laughed on the other hand, sharp and careless. "Madam, look at yourself first," she replied. "If your body was doing its job, your husband wouldn't be outside." The words cut deep. "Don't call me again," Oge continued. "In fact, I will help you. I will send you my doctor's number. Maybe that flat body is the problem." The line went dead. Moments later, the message came in. Choma stared at the contact, Dr. Big Nyash. Her tears slowed, her thoughts shifted. A dangerous idea settled quietly in her mind. If her body was different, maybe her husband would look at her again. Maybe he would stay home. Maybe he would choose her. That night, Choma saved the number, and for the first time, she wondered if faith alone was no longer enough. Choma's surgery day arrived quietly, without the chaos she had imagined. The clinic smelled too clean, almost aggressively so, like disinfectants trying to cover something older and darker. Dr. Big Nyash moved with confidence, speaking softly, reassuringly, as if this was a routine beauty appointment and not a gamble with unseen consequences. Choma lay still as the injections entered her body. The fat was prepared off to the side, transferred carefully, handled like precious oil. It was pale, thick, and cold-looking, nothing like the warm promise of beauty it was meant to become. She did not ask questions. She did not want answers. She focused on the ceiling as she drifted into sleep. The soft hum of the machines and the idea that this would save her marriage. The procedure went smoothly, too smoothly. No screams, no scars. When she woke up, her body looked reborn, full, rounded, balanced in a way she had never known. Dr. Big Nyash smiled and told her everything had gone perfectly. For the first few days, Choma was thrilled. Pastor Kendi hovered around her. Compliments returned, attention followed her steps. But soon, something felt off. Her body felt warm in places it shouldn't. Her healing slowed. At night, her sheets felt damp. Not sweat, something else. She called the hospital, panic creeping into her voice. It's normal, Dr. Big Nyash assured her calmly. Your body is adjusting, don't worry. Everything will seal up. Choma wanted to believe her, so she did. Weeks passed and Choma returned fully to church. Her body announced her before she reached the altar. Dresses hugged her in ways that made heads turn and mouths dry. Women stared with forced smiles. Male ministers lingered too long. Eyes followed her movements during praise and worship. Curiosity thick in the air. They wanted a taste of the pastor's wife. Pastor Kendi noticed too. Pride replaced guilt. He cut off Oge without ceremony. What he had been chasing outside was now standing beside him, radiant and renewed. His home felt restored, his desire redirected. On Sunday, after a powerful testimony, Choma danced forward to give thanks. Her voice shook as she spoke about how God had revived her marriage. The congregation murmured in agreement. Music rose, she began to dance. Joy spilling from her steps, then it happened. At first, it sounded like someone stepped into a puddle. A soft splash, then another. People nearby frowned. A strange smell crept into the air, sharp and unforgiving, like rotten eggs smashed under heat, like stagnant water disturbed after years of silence. Liquid began to seep through her gown, trailing down her legs. Gaps rippled through the church. Someone screamed. Others covered their noses. The smell thickened, spreading faster than embarrassment. Choma froze mid-step, confusion turning into horror as she felt the warmth leave her body in shameful streams. Pastor Kendi rushed towards her, his face pale, his anointing forgotten. Ushers scattered, the choir fell silent. The church that had envied her moment earlier now stared in disbelief. The pastor's wife stood soaked, exposed and unraveling, and the miracle she had testified about collapsed right there on the altar. While chaos swallowed Choma's word, Chuk's breakthrough came suddenly. One deal clicked, then another. Money finally slowed down, long enough to stay. One evening, with shaking hands and hopeful eyes, he proposed. Oge screamed, cried, promised everything. She swore she was done with sugar daddies, done with shortcuts, done with distractions. She told him she was ready to focus on just him, and he believed her. But temptation was stubborn. Her Abuja sugar daddy was in town for one night only. One last run, she told herself, just closure, just enjoyment. They met in a hotel room that smelled of money and impatience. As the door closed, Oge climbed onto the bed laughing, carefree, placing her legs playfully over his shoulders. Then the hair shifted. The man paused, his face twisted. What is that smell? He barked, pulling back sharply. Before Oge could speak, he shoved her away, anger and disgust replacing desire. His shouting filled the room, loud enough to draw attention. His voice rushed in. Phone's already out. Wetin dey happen? Wetin dey happen? Curiosity hungry. Someone laughed. Someone recorded. Someone described the smell out loud, calling it fermented dumpster water. The video escaped the room before Oge did. By morning, it was everywhere. Chuk saw it. He didn't shout. He didn't insult her. He just cried. His voice broke as he asked why she could never stop, why she kept choosing everything except him. When he walked away, the ring stayed behind on the table, shining uselessly. Alone and afraid, Oge rushed to the hospital. Tests were run, scans taken, doctors whispered before finally speaking plainly. Inside her implants were things that had no business being inside a human body. Cement, pieces of flat tire rubber, super glue, all mixed with fat, extracted from dead bodies. Her flesh had rejected it. Her butt was dead. The words landed heavy. Permanent damage, no reversal, no miracle. Oge left the hospital with a flat body and a heavier shame, knowing the very thing she chased had destroyed her. Choma, however, was lucky. Intervention came early enough to save her body. Hers could still heal. Others were not as fortunate. Women came together. United by pain and regret, they formed a group chat. Shared pictures, stories, evidence. Dr. Big Nyash's name filled every message. The police were contacted. Dr. Big Nyash was finally cornered. As officers moved in to arrest her, she began to cry, shake her nyash, and dramatically clutch her curves, wailing and shifting her body with exaggerated movements. The distraction worked. Confusion broke formation. In the chaos, she slipped away, gone. The story ended on television. A news anchor spoke solemnly. A quack doctor known as Dr. Big Nyash is currently on the run. Victims describe her as a big-hipped woman with a pointed nose and big lips. If you see her, please contact AfricanTalesbyOse. Somewhere far away, Dr. Big Nyash watched the broadcast and laughed loudly. "Nurse!" she shouted, adjusting herself in front of a mirror. "Remove this Nyash for me! It's time to start a new procedure," she smiled. Big breasts. Thank you so much for watching to this point, friends. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment telling me what you think about BBL. Is it a yay or a nay for you? And have you heard of the new procedure now? The one where they inject dead people's fat into one's body without tearing, cutting, just in the right places where the person wants. And as always, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!